Hello and welcome to the Vanarama National League highlight show. 8 weeks remaining of the season with 12 games for most of our teams. All eyes have been on whether Barrow will win the league title. They've been in action at Gander Green Lane against Sutton United. More on that a little bit later, but first, what's happened with the chasing pack? Andy May has the details.
Harrogate had never been beaten by Eastleigh, and keen to keep this going, the hosts went ahead after 20 minutes, Josh Falkingham scoring his 4th of the campaign. Then with moments to go before the break, Simon Weaver's side doubled their lead via the excellence of Sunderland loanee Jack Diamond from outside of the area. Late on, Town sealed this latest success against the Spitfires, with Jack Muldoon getting himself on the score sheet for the 12th time this season. Harrogate have won 7 of their last 9.
There was some moments where we could have improved upon first half, but you know, you're playing in a gale force wind, aren't you? So it's never going to be easy for either team. But I thought there was a touch of class, you know, around the goals, and you know, we're playing some good stuff at the minute.
Facing Yeovil, Boreham Wood targeted a 15th match without defeat and sealed victory deep in the second half, with top scorer Kabongo Shimanga netting a 17th of the term. Wood move up to 3rd. Hosting a side in a playoff position, promotion hopefuls Hartlepool went in front. Right after half-time, Joe McDonnell was caught out by a Nicky Featherstone cross. And 10 minutes on, Notts County and McDonnell hadn't learned their lesson as Pool's popular midfielder made it 2-0. The first brace of his career moves Dave Challoner's team to within a point of the top 7. For these two, there'll be no title on the line anytime soon, but after an hour in Chesterfield, Nathan Tyson was found in the box, sending home supporters into a fury, 1-0. The Spyrites lot were about to go wilder. Emerging from the corner, Tyson connected. And in spite of being a mere replacement in this bout, then came the knockout blow, belted in stylishly. All winners need help and support, and wrapping up a box office event, Tyson's right-hand man Curtis Weston chipped in against an opponent that had seemingly thrown in the towel. At the end, a points outcome that may well prove to hold huge weight.
Well, a great win there for Chesterfield. Chris Hargreaves has stayed on for overtime, as always, but delighted to have Matt Gray with us as well. A huge win, as we were just saying there, for Chesterfield against a fellow struggler in Ebbsfleet, and it sends out a big message, doesn't it? Are you surprised that Chesterfield have found themselves in that position for most of the season?
Well, you would do from day one, because they're probably one of the title favourites, but I think John Pemberton's now got a job till the end of the season. That's fully deserved. I think he's only lost 1 now in 6. And that was a big game today, really. Rumours about maybe 3 only going down. So, you know, that hasn't been confirmed yet, but to get a win against another team in the bottom 4 and just pushes them away from them, and it's a big win for them.
And we spoke to John Pemberton a couple of weeks ago. Is he favourite now for the job? Should he want the job? He's implemented quite a lot of new things, hasn't he?
He has, yeah. It's good to see the old-timers scoring a few goals there as well, isn't it? With a hat-trick there. But
I'll let you do the jokes on the
No, it is though. I mean, knockout. Actually, you've got a bit of Gypsy King in you, mate.
Oh, no, yeah, I'll be watching that tonight.
But I have to say, it's a brilliant hat-trick. What a hat-trick! And you know what? At 37, you're still enjoying your football. You've still got a bit of determination. And it's a good stat, isn't it? The
first Chesterfield player to score a hat-trick off the bench.
Great stat, really. Great stat. But it's a brilliant hat-trick, and fair play to him. 37, he'll be important for the running, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Boreham Wood we saw there as well, on an incredible run, aren't they? They've kind of overcome perhaps the playoff hangover from the season before.
Yeah, they have, yeah. And you know, we've spoken about Fylde having that this season, but Shamanga getting the goal there. 16 games, Matt, we said, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I don't think they've lost since the last week of October, I think. So, you know, he's done really well there and assembling a good side. They've got pace, power. They're a real handful on the counter-attack and in attacking areas. So they'll definitely be in the mix when it comes to the end of the season.
And after, of course, today's result, which we'll speak about a little bit later, Harrogate putting the pressure on. If you're a Harrogate fan, if you were Simon Weaver, what are you thinking after tonight?
There's a chance. You have to, don't you? You've got to keep believing. You never know. And also Boreham Wood, I think if they win the games in hand, they're not a million miles off themselves. But Harrogate, a good side, got some good players. Muldoon playing well. They've got a sort of system that works for them, playing the right way. So they'll fancy the chances. But I still think, you know, box seat, Barrow, you've got to believe you're going to do it.
Yeah, they're certainly obviously the favourites. And for me, especially on today's performance and when we've come up and watched them previously, they're probably the best team in the league. But the likes of Harrogate with Falkenham, who's popping up there, getting the first goal, who's a top player for him in midfield. And as you say, if Boreham Wood win their couple of games in hand, then they're right in the mix as well.
OK, let's move on then, because Bromley were looking good for a playoff position at the start of the season. They've lost 7, though, of the last 10. Wrexham have shown some fighting spirit as well as they say their season. Let's get a roundup from Seb Hutchinson.
With defeat for Stockport last time out, Bromley had dropped out of the top 7 for the first time this season. This time round they fell behind in the opening 11 minutes. Davis Caylor-Dunn scoring his first goal in English football after signing for Wrexham in January. The Welsh side dominated the contest. Caylor-Dunn denied his second by keeper Mark Cousins, before Jordan Ponticelli saw his header hit the bar from a Paul Rutherford cross. But Wrexham sealed their 3rd victory in 4 away matches when Ponticelli found enough room to add a stylish second in the 90th minute as Dean Keats's men keep themselves just above the drop zone. FC Halifax Town travelled south on a run of 7 games unbeaten and 3rd in the table, but that good run of form came to an end as Torquay's Adi Aziz followed up from close range midway through the second half. The mid-table visitors had just 1 victory in their previous 6 home matches, but they eased their Plainmoor pain, partly thanks to visiting substitute Jack Redshaw twice failing to find the net in added time. Dagenham are one of the informed teams towards the lower end of the table and weren't fazed by the visit of a Solihull Moors side in the playoff places. Jimmy Shan's first game as Moors manager would end in defeat, as first Mitch Brundle's header gave the home side a 10th minute lead. And then when Geraldo Bayrami was robbed by Ben House just a couple of minutes before half-time, Angelo Balanta's finish would help make it 6 games unbeaten for the now durable Daggers.
So defeat for Bromley, and on their form, Chris, their playoff hopes starting to dwindle away?
Yeah, there's something amiss at the moment, but you do get these spells sometimes. You've just got to grind that win out, haven't you, by any means. I think they've lost 6 of the last 7, I think it is, but as a manager, you just want that one win, don't you? You just need to stop the rot.
They're not the only team that have had really good runs and spells throughout the season, and then suddenly it can change on a game, and then you can go 6-7 without a win. And you know, we've certainly been on that. Unfortunately, ours was the other way around, and we seem to be going the right way. But you just need that one game to change it. And but Wrexham, in all fairness to them, they've struggled away from home all season, but I think they've won 3 out of 4 on the road now, so they're certainly climbing the table quickly as well.
Yeah, things can change very quickly, can't they?
Yeah, they can. Yeah, not sure which pundit went for Wrexham to win the league.
I think it might have been someone stood very close to me.
Yeah, bad shout. But we all get things wrong, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely. First defeat in 8 for Halifax, so they've dropped a place. And then first game for Jimmy Shan at Solihull.
Yeah.
How much do we know about him? And a warm welcome to him to the Vanarama National League.
Absolutely. Well, for sure, he's no mug, is he? This is as easy, isn't it? Scoring the goal on loan from Newport, first goal. So that's a good start for him. But for Jimmy, it's difficult, isn't it? We're talking about a coach that obviously knows his stuff. He's been at West Brom for 13 years, so he's no mug. But he's trying to play in a different way. It'll be hard for the fans to buy into it, and the players will find it difficult at first if that's the way he wants to play.
Yeah, first defeat for him. He's got a team in the playoffs. A big job.
It is, because Tim Flowers, you know, is certainly successful the way he organised, set up, and the way he played. Now, I don't know exactly how Jimmy Shan's going to come in and play, but you'd imagine with his background and his pedigree that it probably might be different. And with the players they've got there, there's certainly going to be a transitional period there that they've just got to hope they stay in the playoffs and be there or thereabouts come the end of the season. But I'm sure it'll be changed.
Plenty more to come. Don't go anywhere. We have the rest of the action from the Vanarama National League, including what happened here at Gander Green Lane between Barrow and Sutton United. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the Vanarama National League highlight show. Let's get straight back into the rest of the weekend's action. Sam Ashew has the details.
Fylde are on their worst run at this level. They hadn't won in 10 games before this one, but they got off to the perfect start at Crabble when Aaron Simpson handballed in the box. Up stepped Tom Walker to make it 3 goals in 5 games. Dover missed the chance to move into the playoff places with defeat at Barrow on Tuesday, but they gave themselves an opportunity to do so here. Dominic Polian scoring for what was his first goal in over a year. And just before half-time, the home side went into the lead. Jack Munns hauled down in the box, giving Innie Effiong the chance to make it goal number 14 for the season. Into the second half and another penalty. Paul Rooney brought down in the area. Effiong the taker once again. A save this time. The rebound converted by what looked like a joint effort from both Effiong and Aid Youssef. One for the dubious goals panel. But if that wasn't clear, this one certainly was. 2 minutes later, Effiong timing his run and finish to perfection for his second and Dover's fourth. Fylde fans will have been desperate to hear the final whistle, but had to endure one more moment of pain when Bobby Joe Taylor got in on the action to make it 5. Dover into the playoffs, the coasters seemingly coasting to relegation.
They say that good teams bounce back. We lost midweek to the team that I believe will win the league in Barrow, and we showed today what characters we've got in the group.
All 4 meetings between these two had ended with a Woking win, but it was the away side who struck first when Sam Walker's corner fell to Danny Lloyd for 1-0. The lead only lasted 6 minutes though. Jack Cook's long throw evading the Stockport defence, but not Alex Wall, his first goal since April last year. 1-1 it finished at Kingfield. The last 2 meetings between these two saw a total of 13 goals. No surprise then that it took just 8 minutes for the opener. Craig Tanner's corner fell to Dean Rance, who smashed home. Aldershot had won just 1 in their last 12 away games, but looked well on their way to improving that record. Lewis Walker and Harry Panagiotou linking nicely with the latter, firing into the net to double the lead. The Shots managed to keep Maidenhead at bay for over 40 minutes, but were made to sweat with just over half an hour to go when Remy Clarima halved the deficit. And that's how it would end. A big win for Danny Searle's side. January transfer signing Paul McCallum's impact was so instant he scored with his first touch for the club 3 weeks ago. It didn't take him long to do so in his second appearance either, just 2 minutes in fact, sliding in after Simeon Akinola's initial effort to put Barnet 1-0 up, and that would be the only goal of the game. The Bees have lost just once in 10 matches.
Dover then bouncing back from their defeat against Barrow with a big win against Fylde. For Fylde, well, they're in real danger, aren't they?
They are. I mean, I really like Jim Bentley and the superb job he did at Morecambe, and he's used to being down at the wrong end and surviving with a small budget. But, you know, we've Fylde now, 10, 11 games to go. What are they, 9 points maybe
9 points.
Off that. So, you know, they've certainly got some work to do, but you still wouldn't rule it out.
Yeah, I mean, we spoke about Boreham Wood perhaps having that hangover last season. Is that the same perhaps for Fylde this season, being in the playoffs?
Can be, can't it? We've just spoken about that, haven't we? You get so close, and then maybe there's the turnover of players and that sort of deflation after getting so close. But then again, you know, they have got a good squad. They've got some good players. I'm not sure why the changes have happened, and perhaps it hasn't quite gelled for them. But it's a big budget and a big club to be in that position.
too right. And as I say, you certainly do fear for him a little bit now, but you certainly wouldn't roll him out, suddenly stringing a few results together and putting themselves back in the mix to survive.
Aldershot with their first win in 6. And then for Chorley, well, they've just lost their leading goal scorer as well. He's gone to Stalybridge Celtic last week. But the writing on the wall, really. They found it very difficult in this division. Yeah, they have, but you know, you never accept it, do you? You can't accept it until it's mathematically impossible, but it's been a tough season. Some teams have come up and flourished and done really well and carried on the momentum, but they found it tough, haven't they? Yeah. And once you get in that rut, and once there's a gap, there's a psychological blow that keeps happening every week. But as I say, until it's over, it's not done yet, is it? Absolutely. OK, time to turn our attentions to Gander Green Lane here to see what happened in the late kick-off. Sutton United took on the league leaders at Barrow. Your commentators for this, the two Adams, Adam Virgo and Adam Summerton.
Randall making his return to the side today. He's done well. And there's Beautyman, and he'll try and bend one. Well, you could see what was coming, the right idea from Beautyman, and just couldn't get enough bend on it.
It's just one of those that you don't actually need a lot of connection on it, because you've got the wind behind you. Just couldn't execute the shot on target.
Barrow quickly have it back. Rooney with a brilliant cross. Fantastic goal. Dior Angus it was who headed it home, but the flag is up. He doesn't realise it yet, but that isn't going to count.
Very, very tight there. I think it's Ben White that's a player that's in question of keeping Dior Angus onside, but very, very tight call.
Flick by Quigley. Has that good understanding with Angus, and back it goes here for Quigley, and Kay's at the back post. He didn't need it. What a tidy finish that is from Scott Quigley.
It's a brilliant executed through ball there from Dior Angus. It's a brilliant finish as well.
Kay did well and got it wide. 3 in the middle here, Quigley. 2-0. Poacher's finish.
This is just such a difficult ball to defend against. Right place at the right time.
Lovely turn, Beautyman! What a goal from the skipper to get the U's back into this right at the end of the first half. A moment of real quality there. Randall, who looks to go on the outside, and his cross into the box is good, and Adjiboy's there, and off the post it came. Sutton so close to an equaliser.
David Adjiboy expects that cross to come to him, just delays himself slightly to get the shot against the post.
Looking to use the pace here of Wulafe, who's got plenty of pace, and he's in here. Will he go for goal? Goes down, Taylor with the challenge, penalty given.
Wulafe does absolutely brilliant in there to draw in the foul, 100% a penalty.
It's Beautyman to equalise, and he does. Captain Fantastic with the equaliser. His 15th National League goal of the season. Is there going to be some late drama at Gander Green Lane? Keeley stood almost on the goal line. On the header by Dundas, and Dixon's just about kept it out.
It's a brilliant ball in there. To see Dixon being pestered there by Keeley on the line, that ball really just spins into him quite quickly. Gets away with that one.
So a point apiece. Matt, give us your thoughts up until perhaps 40 minutes of the first half.
Yeah, certainly I wasn't happy with the proceedings at all. We were sort of down the slope with the wind, and I certainly wasn't asking them to keep kicking out for a goal kick. But I wanted us to play a little bit more, you know, and I wanted on the ball. I didn't think we were good enough, and we certainly weren't. Our shape and our pressing certainly wasn't good enough either. So I tweaked those few things at half time. I actually was taking 2-0 at half time to try and get him organised, and Harry's bit of skill there and great finish to give us, you know, a real bit of belief in there to make sure we get things right and to start on the front foot, and I thought it was outstanding second half.
How did your half-time team talk change?
No, probably not overly. The information was probably still the same, but it certainly gave me and the players a little bit more belief, and that we're only 1 goal behind, and yeah, just watching it here now, I just wanted to play a little bit more with Harry getting forward like he does. It's a great finish.
How important is he with? I mean, what have you seen in him as well to give him the captain's armband? He's certainly a key player for you.
Yeah, with the big loss of Jamie Collins, unfortunately retiring, and giving the captaincy to Craig Eastman, but this is his final game of his 4 suspension. So Harry, steps in when Craig isn't captain, and he's such a big character in the dressing room. He leads by example, and I've no hesitation with him wearing the armband. And just looking here, Omar, he links up the play really well for us. The pace we've got with Will Randall, David Ajiboye, Tantam, as I call him. He's coming on loan from Millwall. I've got good contacts and good friends at Millwall, and they've let us have him till the end of the season. And he's a real threat in behind. Gets a little bit of luck, but then once he gets into that box, earns the penalty well.
As well, just hasn't quite got the angle to finish, and checks inside. It's good play, isn't it?
Yeah.
Good pen as well.
Yeah.
But you get that, don't you, when you've been given the captaincy sometimes? You want that responsibility. I think it brings the best out of you sometimes, to be honest.
Yeah, without a doubt. As I say, like even in training, is how he demands it off the other players, and the example he sets both on and off the pitch. Harry Buteman's been outstanding. He's such a good lad, and someone, first name on the team sheet, and rightly so.
A point today then, and edging closer to that 50-point mark that you set for yourself right at the start of the season.
Yeah, I've sort of said it in previous interviews, but it's such a big transitional period, both on and off the pitch for the football club, and just to keep this club in the National League for the first season, build again in the summer, and move on. But the first target is 51 points that I believe we need, and I think we're sort of 7 or 8 away from that now.
Have you played against perhaps who you think are going to be the champions tonight?
I believe so, yeah. Harrogate, as we said earlier, and Boreham Wood will certainly run them close, but Ian Everett, Pete Atherton they're a really good side to play against. The way they play, they invite you to try and press them, then they can go into the front two, which are a right handful. You've got Rooney popping up, making great runs into the box, and between those three, the amount of goals they got this season is phenomenal.
Okay, let's take a look at the table. Bromley next to opposition for you, Matt, and Sutton United. Here's how it stands then after all the action in the 5th tier this evening. Barrow still with the lead, but 5 points now. Harrogate right behind them. Boreham Wood have moved up a place with Halifax losing today. And at the bottom of the table, Chorley remain rooted to the bottom, but Chesterfield are starting to creep it up after a big win against Ebbsfleet as well. Sutton United, they're in 15th after today's draw with Barrow. Matt, delighted to have you with us, and Chris, as always. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.